Can we swap the Mercy, please? Mercy, could you play Lucio? Mercy, maybe an Ana? Or we need a Zen. Mercy, do you think you could swap? Mercy, please? Mercy, please? Mercy! Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Stylosa, and this is Unit Lost. Have you heard that in any of your games recently? I bet you have, because I've heard this in loads and loads and loads of games. I've played an absolute metric ton of Overwatch competitive over the weekend, like loads of it. In fact, yesterday, I was playing it like a goddamn animal. I played it for like 10 hours plus. I was crazy. Anyway, in a lot of the games where there was a Mercy player, she was the first one to take the hate as soon as something goes wrong. It's like, oh, we need to swap the Mercy. And I'm thinking, well, hang on a minute, the Mercy's doing okay. Because I want to make a statement at the start of this video, guys, before we get into this, because it's going to be very detailed. Mercy players are not bad players. You may think they're bad players because Mercy doesn't require aiming, so therefore you get on your high horse and go, well, I'm such a superior player to this Mercy because I've got better accuracy. Well, I've got news for you. You're playing Overwatch. Overwatch is a game where all kinds of different players fit together to build a team. You get strategic players like Mercy. You get Twitch reaction players like a McCree or like a Tracer. They fit together, they form a team. But this massive amount of irrational hate, or is it irrational hate, which is thrown towards Mercy players, is honestly quite baffling to me. Because what you've got to remember, when you go into a game, you have to try and win the game. If you don't win the game, then what's the point of playing the game? Now, this is where it's going to get very interesting, because there are Mercy mains out there, there are Sombra mains out there, there are Torbjorn mains, there are Symmetra mains out there. Notice all of these heroes, generally off meta. I wouldn't say Mercy's off meta as such right now, but the other ones would be. But the fact is, off-meta heroes and heroes that you specialise in are heroes that you can rapidly gain SR in because of the way the system works. So let me explain this to you, because this is also a fact. If you want to level up really quick in this game, when I say level up, I mean go up through the ranks, you pick one hero and you just play that hero regardless of what's going on, right? And you will generally get more SR when you win and gain less and lose less R when you lose, right? So that's a win-win situation, you'd think, right? So if I'm going to play Mercy and I'm going to propel myself up through the ranks, what am I going to do? Well, I need to do things which are going to get my stats higher. So that means I need to wait for big reses instead of bringing back 1 or 2 people. I want to bring back 4 people because that's going to look more impressive on the stats. It's going to give me more on fire rating, although on fire rating is not actually in direct correlation to your SR that you gain or your performance, but it's the only kind of visual representation we have of performance. So if you're on fire a lot, you're probably doing the right things in the game's eyes, so you're going to get more SR. Now you're probably thinking, Sty, why are you telling me all of this? This is because the way the SR system and the MMR system works in this game is like this. It's performance based against average players at your SR and MMR. Now, there's a little bit of confusion. I'm not sure whether it's MMR exclusive or SR exclusive. It's probably both of them together, or maybe it's just SR, right? So what it's going to do, and it might potentially be SR. So this is what I'm trying to explain. If you are a Mercy player, and you are 3000 rated player, and you res loads of people, do loads of healing, right, and don't die, in the game's eyes, you're better than the average Mercy player, so you will gain more SR when you win to push you up through the ranks to increase your MMR and your SR. So you get into games where you're against better players and with better players, because your stats indicate you should be with those players. Now, the problem with this, with Overwatch, is when you look at the game, it's a team game. It's a game built around being flexible. It's a game where you can swap your heroes on the fly. This isn't a MOBA. You don't select your hero and that's it, you're locked in with a hero. No, you can keep swapping your hero. The problem is, though, if you just keep playing one hero, now the key thing is you have to get good with this hero. You can't just play one hero and be like, okay, I'm just going to play Soldier 76 every game, and why am I in Platinum? Why am I in Silver? Well, that's because you're not getting any better with him, right? If you're getting better with him, then yes, you will go up through the ratings. The problem is, though, with some of the off-meta heroes, and it looks like Mercy, is they reward you in different ways. The system rewards the Mercy player in different ways. Now, if Mercy keeps waiting for a big, massive res, which happens quite a lot, and if you look at the pro scene, you don't really see that many Mercy players in play, because Mercy's not that effective in terms of the way they play the game. On the ladder, though, it's very chaotic. It's not organised, is it? Even when you play at the highest levels, which I have, and even when you play at lower levels, when I watch back VODs for Overanalyzed, right, you watch the VODs back, and it's very chaotic. I mean, the games are pretty much the same. Only thing that really happens at higher levels is the players are better, yes, but also they just generally combo their ultimates and typically build a team which complements each other. However, Mercy benefits a big big way from a chaotic game, because if everybody gets killed and Mercy's hiding in a corner and then she reses the whole team, that's a big thumbs up for Mercy. That's like, well done, Mercy, you've just pulled off an awesome res. It's like pulling off like a quad kill with a Pharah ultimate or something ridiculous like that. The thing is, you can do this reliably like 2 or 3 times every single game, so you're going to get more statistics if you're a clever Mercy player and hide. Now, most of this video so far is me been talking about the way the SR system works and how it benefits a Mercy player, for example, right? The thing is, the Mercy players are still good players. They're playing Mercy how she should be played. Now, I've seen a lot of other people start moaning about Mercy is an easy hero. She's a stupid hero to play. All you've got to do is hide around a corner and pop your res. Yeah, that might be true, but you've also got to hide in a position where you know you're not going to get hit. And here's the other thing. If the enemy team have got Genji and Tracer, who I would class as the main counters to a Mercy who is hiding, it's their job to find this Mercy and kill her. But I know what those players would say, because I play Tracer, right? It's very difficult to stop Mercy coming in with the res. You can wipe out an enemy team, Mercy flies in, bang, there's the res, everyone's back. So then it becomes more of an issue. How do you deal with this Mercy res, which seems to be the biggest problem that I'm noticing with people right now? Everyone gets really frustrated. I mean, hell, I made a video a long time ago where I got frustrated with the Mercy res. I was like, oh my god, Mercy res. The thing with the res is, you have to be aware it's going to happen and then counter it with your ultimates. So, I play a lot of Soldier 76, right? So what do you think I do when I know Mercy's got a res? Mercy's ultimate is one of the fastest charging ultimates in the game. When she's got it, you pretty much know Mercy's got a res. So you wait for the team fights to break out. You wait for them to lose 2 or maybe 3 people in the fight. Then Mercy comes in with the res, then you pop Tac Visor and start cleaning through the res. Or, if you're Zarya, then you drop the Graviton to pull them back in. Or, if you're Reinhardt, you smash the Earth Shatter just to get rid of them. There's a lot of options to deal with a Mercy res, and I think people need to get that into their head. Mercy isn't this instant win hero. She isn't this easy to play hero. She's just very different. Overwatch is a game where all kinds of different players come together, and that's the beauty of this game. So what the hell is causing this wave of toxicity towards Mercy players? Well, it's a couple of issues, right? The first one is everybody perceives Mercy to be a low skill hero. Now, I don't think she is. I think the problem is everybody's been in a game, right, where Mercy just reses the whole team. After you've done some sort of beautiful ultimate, you've killed the whole enemy team, it's great, Mercy flies in, everybody's back, and it's like, oh, I've been there on the microphone loads of times. In fact, over the weekend, screaming and shouting, going, guys, we've got to kill the Mercy. Genji, blade the Mercy, kill the Mercy. Genji doesn't kill the Mercy. Genji goes around with Nano Blade, so we've just invested 2 ultimates. He kills the whole team. Mercy flies and brings them back, and then we die. And then Genji's like, oh, Mercy's so crap, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Genji, it was your job to find her. You've got to go and find her and kill her. Like, she can't be that far away. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, it's so bad. So you get people who suffer that. And I've suffered this as well. You know, I've gone in with Soldier, killed the whole enemy team with Tac Visor, sitting there like, yeah, come on. And then Mercy just flies in and is like, heroes never die! And then everyone's back and I'm like, oh, alright then, I suppose I should uninstall the game. Everybody has that with Mercy, right? So it does make you kind of toxic towards the hero, because you're like, oh god damn it, Mercy. If it keeps happening, it's going to annoy you. The thing is though, when it happens for you, on your team, from your Mercy, you're not sitting there going, oh, this is so bad. You're like, yes, Mercy, awesome res. Or you'll be like me, going, Mercy, we're going to need the res this fight. Be safe, stay safe. Mercy, we need the res, go. And then Mercy res, it's like, oh yeah. One thing I will say though, the thing that really triggers me about Mercy players is ones that won't res individual targets, especially when they've got ultimates available. This happens to me a lot as well. So if I'm playing Soldier and I've got Tac Visor and I've just died and I'm in a really good position, I'll be going, Mercy, res me, I've got Tac Visor, and Mercy won't res me. Or I'll say something to me like, it's not worth a one-man res. I'm like, no, Mercy, it is. It really is. I've got Tac Visor. We could kill the whole team. For God's sake, Mercy. But that's only one little issue, right? The other thing, and I think this is the main problem people have got with Mercy, is, well, the fact that Mercy seems to gain SR even when she's losing games, because Mercy's doing things which the game really like, and we don't know for sure the way this works. There have been bits of information given out. Like I said, I've made videos on this in the past. I've covered some of it in this video where typically gain more SR than she loses, or that never used to be the case, because it used to be really broke for Mercy and she used to get like no SR. But when she's doing Mercy things, so bringing people back with reses, especially when they're big reses, so this kind of does reward bad Mercy playing away, because just waiting for that big res is not the best idea, because when you start getting through to the higher levels, so when you start getting into Master or even into Diamond, you'll notice that players are very clever for the Mercy, because what they'll do is they'll be like, you know what, Mercy's going to res now. So like I said earlier in the video, they'll just wait with an ultimate. So they'll be like, oh, we'll wait. And then they'll pop their Dragon Blade after Mercy is resed and then start killing people. They'll do things like that. And that pretty much stops that Mercy player in her tracks, because she can't keep relying on this just hiding and going for a mass res. Now the other thing, and this is the thing I'm going to end the video on, which is kind of like the first point I made in this little summing up section, is sometimes Mercy can be seen as an anti-fun hero to play against, because nobody really likes to see all of their hard work just sort of wiped out like that. But that's what Mercy does. You know she's going to do that when she's got a res. So it's not her fault. She's playing that game damn well if she's going to bring people back with the res. You know, you're on final point, Temple of Anubis, and she's hiding. She's going to pop out the spawn and then pop the res. You know she's going to do this. So you've got to be careful, and you've got to wait and try and kill the Mercy. Now, the problem with that is it's much harder for the players to kill the Mercy than it is for the Mercies to jump into the fight. And when we start scaling this up to higher levels, yes, where people start getting very, you know, awesome accuracy with a McCree or whatever, they can see the Mercy coming in and they kill her before she even gets the res off. But that doesn't happen at all of the other tiers, because that takes like an absolute god tier McCree. I mean, I don't think I've ever done that. I think I've maybe done it once with Soldier, killed her with a Helix rocket as she's flown into the fight to res. Like when it I did it with Hanzo as well, but when it happens, it's beautiful. But it's very, very difficult to do that. It's almost going to be odds on she's going to come in with the res. So what I want you guys to take away from this is this, right? Right now, the way the game rewards you for playing a one hero over and over again and becoming good at that hero is not the greatest thing ever. Because if you know, just for example, play Sombra all the time, there might be times where playing Sombra is not the best idea. But if you carry on playing Sombra and your team lose, then you will lose less SR than the rest of your team, because you're playing a hero that's not played as often, or you're playing it to a higher level than generally other people play that hero too. And that's kind of not fair. So that gives you, there's sort of like the argument of, should we lose the same amount of SR every time we lose a game and gain the same amount when we win a game? The problem with that is you can't do that, because Overwatch is such a complex game. It has to try and work out your skill level. So imagine if you finished your placement games and you placed at 2k, but really you're a 2.8k player. You're much better than the players around you, but you'd have to win a ton of games then to get out of that sort of rating if you always gain 25 and lose 25. So you can see why they use this dynamic system. The thing is though, guys, don't be toxic to your fellow players. It doesn't matter what they're playing, try and play around them. If you do get somebody who just wants to play Torbjorn or Mercy or whatever, even though it might not be the best hero, try and work around it, because if you don't win the game, you won't gain SR. It doesn't matter if they are going to lose less SR, you will still lose SR if you don't win the game. So try and be flexible and build a team that will win. Guys, this has been a bit of a detailed video, but don't go after Mercy mains. It's fine. If you're a main of anything, honestly, it's fine. It's up to you to work around those players when you see them. And if you are a main, try and be flexible, guys, because if you're like a Junkrat main or something like that, it's cool and it's fine. You've bought the game, you can play the game how you like. But sometimes, right, especially when you're playing competitive, because the whole point of competitive is to win, and please note that this video is aimed at competitive players, sometimes you might need to swap that hero to something which will work a little bit better, and don't be so opposed to doing that. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa, and this is Unit Lost. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then subscribe to the channel, like the video. You can leave a comment below. In fact, leave a comment below and tell me about your Mercy stories. They'll be interesting to read. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and you can join the Discord, which is discord.gg/UnitLost. And I'll catch you next time, guys. Heroes never die. Toodaloo.